In the final years of World War II, the United States military unleashed one of its most bizarre and ingenious weapons. It wasn't a new kind of bomb. It wasn't a high-tech tank. It was an army. That wasn't real. Thousands of soldiers. Dozens of divisions. Tanks, trucks, artillery, and radio transmissions. All fake. This was the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, better known as the Ghost Army. And their mission: to deceive Hitler's forces using inflatable tanks, phony radio chatter, sound effects, and sheer theatrical brilliance. Their story remained classified for decades. Today, we're finally uncovering how a team of artists, designers, and illusionists helped win World War II without ever firing a shot. The Ghost Army was activated in January 1944 and consisted of about 1,100 men, much smaller than a traditional division. But their impact would be massive. These weren't your average soldiers. Many were recruited from art schools, ad agencies, and Hollywood studios. Their skills: painting, design, sound engineering, and stagecraft. The army saw an opportunity. What if deception could be weaponized? Instead of brute force, they would use illusion, manipulating the enemy's perceptions to misdirect entire divisions of Nazi troops. And it worked. The Ghost Army used a combination of tactics never before seen in warfare. First, there were the visual deceptions. Inflatable tanks that looked real from the air. Rubber aircraft. Dummy artillery. Camouflage netting that suggested massive supply lines or troop buildups. Everything was designed to be seen by enemy reconnaissance, and to mislead them. Then came sonic deception. The unit recorded real sounds of tanks, trucks, and troops on massive speakers. They'd blast these soundscapes, up to 15 miles away, making it seem like a full battalion was moving into place. These soundtracks were layered to reflect actual maneuvers, from soldiers digging in, to tanks rolling out, to engines revving up. Each mission was carefully choreographed like a stage play. And perhaps most impressive, the radio deception. A special team called the spoofers mimicked authentic radio communications, copying the styles and slang of specific divisions. They would study real army units and simulate their traffic patterns, fooling German intelligence into thinking those units were somewhere they weren't. This multi-layered illusion often involved fake headquarters, false uniforms, phony traffic signs, and even actors impersonating generals. It was one massive, coordinated performance. In the middle of a war zone. One of their most legendary missions came just before the D-Day invasion. The Ghost Army helped create the illusion that the main Allied invasion would come at Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy. They used inflatable landing craft, radio traffic, and fake signals to convince the Germans that a massive force was preparing to strike elsewhere. The result? German troops were held in the wrong location for weeks, giving the Allies a crucial advantage during the actual invasion. Later in the war, during the Battle of the Bulge, the Ghost Army pulled off what may have been their most daring act. They staged an entire division, complete with sound, lights and fake armor, to plug a gap in the front line. For days, they held off German scouts, buying time until real reinforcements arrived. They were constantly at risk. If discovered, they would have been shot on sight, not just as soldiers, but as saboteurs and spies. And yet, they succeeded again and again. Over 20 deception operations. Thousands of German troops misled. Countless Allied lives saved. And no one knew. The Ghost Army's work was classified until 1996. For decades, the veterans couldn't even talk about what they did, not to their families, not to the public. Only recently have we begun to recognize the genius behind their strange, quiet warfare. In 2022, Congress finally awarded the unit the Congressional Gold Medal for their heroic service. But even now, many people still haven't heard of them. Think about it, a secret army of artists, sound engineers, and radio techs who risked their lives creating illusions of war. And changed the course of history. They proved that you don't always need a weapon to win a war. Sometimes, all you need is a brush, a speaker, a script, and the guts to fake it on the front lines. This is the story of the Ghost Army, a forgotten masterpiece of military deception. History isn't always what it seems. Sometimes, it's just smoke and mirrors.